Hello, I'm Dr. Margaret, and I'd like to talk to you today about anger. Actually, we've seen a lot of planets shifting, and what's going on right now is that we're being forced to look at the ending of the old ways and the beginning of the new ways. And of course, when we look at our personal life and we look at our history, and we see all the things that we were taught when we were children, there's a lot of things that we believe that are truly important to us. And some of those things may well be the, shall we say, the galoshes that you've got stuck in the mud with and don't realize that actually you can get out of the mud, you can take off those galoshes, and that you can actually start to think for yourself. So let me explain this a little more. When we're children, for example, we get a cold or something, Mommy says, we're going to go to the doctors and get the magic medicine. And of course, you come home, you take it, and in your mind, you develop the idea that your doctor has all the answers. He's the magic wizard who can make any pain, illness, anything that's wrong go away. And of course, with society the way it is, and with the medical situations that are going on with things like Obamacare or in other countries with their systems, we're finding that a lot of people are not getting the love, the support, and the care that they need. And of course, that's where I come in because I'm a doctor of alternative medicine. I look at the whole person. I look at what is making a person emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually afraid, or even worse, angry. So yes, even things like astrology, where we look at your natal chart and see what's happening to you, can be important. What lessons you're learning, what your spirit wants to know and understand so that you can put yourself forward in a way that you can overcome the history that you're still clinging to, believing that that is the way of the times for you now. So let's take another example. Let's say you're my age, 73 years old, and you were brought up with hardly anyone having any cars, no one having a cell phone for sure, having sometimes to have a party line with your phone, so if next door neighbor is using it, you can't use yours until you've waited for them to finish, how to ring some exchange operator who's going to connect you with the party that you wanted to talk to. Now, if I try to apply those ideas to my cell phone, I'm going to have a lot of problems because they don't work. Nothing works that way anymore. So over the years of my life, I've had to adopt. I've had to say, that system or that idea doesn't work. Now, let's take that into our belief systems about love. Back in those days, Mom stayed home. She cooked dinner. She braided your hair or plaited it, whichever country you're in, and made you look pretty, made sure you had your sandwiches or your lunch money to go off to school. And when you came home, there she was waiting with snacks and asking you what you wanted for supper and so on. And the house was tidy and everything was wonderful and you felt nurtured. But now, today, kids don't have that. What's happening is that Mum comes home, she's tired, she's exhausted, and she wants maybe a rest. Meanwhile, you have to fend for yourself. You have to find out what exactly you want to eat. You have to learn to cook it for yourself, microwave it maybe. Or maybe Mum's not home. Maybe she's got a second job. And Dad comes home and he's in a mood because he's found out that all sorts of people are busy at work getting in his way so he can't do his job properly. And all you know is your parents are at sixes and sevens, upset, miserable, and you're trying to make sense of it. You're trying to understand what is going on in this family unit. And during that time, you make up your mind, you make up your ideas about what you think their life is about and what you think you believe that you're not getting It might be you're angry because they never stop and give you a cuddle or a kiss or tell you how great you are. Or it might be that they just don't seem to understand the work that you're studying or the things that you're doing, and you don't have anyone to discuss it with. Or it might be that you feel you can't socialize very well with your friends at school. Look back at those years. Look at what you thought during those times. Because even if you're 25 today, those things that you thought about when you were in school, they're history. And those ideas may well be affecting you in the way that you work, communicate, talk to people, even bring up your own children. Because what you're actually saying is, my children have to be brought up the way that I was brought up. When I was young, it was quite normal to be smacked. And smacked meant a good smacking. It wasn't easy. It was very hard emotionally. But today, if you smack a child, a parent can be arrested for abusing a child. So what laws do we have that are in place that are good, that actually protect the child? And what laws are a little bit over the top for a normal family? Well, unfortunately, many families are dysfunctional. Mums and dads argue and fight morning, noon and night over many issues, from money worries to whether or not they're compatible, getting along, wondering what's right or wrong, trying the best that they can, eventually maybe divorcing. And then the child is introduced to new ideas with new folks in their life. Maybe those folks are better, but maybe not. There tends to be patterns that we follow. I want a model that's someone like my dad, or I want a model that's someone like my mom or my grandma. But they're in the past. Their upbringing is in the past. You have to start finding your own values, your own ideas about who you are and the things that you're doing or want to do or hope to do soon. Soon means think about doing it now. Because if you say soon, the next thing you know, it could be 4 or 5 years later that you've gone out and about doing all sorts of things for all sorts of other people under all sorts of ideas that you learned as a child, that you must earn the right to be accepted, that you must earn the right to be loved, that you must earn the right to have your place in society. Well, of course, society has many different areas of mixtures, shall we say, of different cultures, different religions, philosophies. We also have many different points of view on our political ideas, on our social ideas. Where's yours? What is your idea? I was looking years ago at young boys throwing stones at the soldiers from England when Ireland was up in an uproar over their independence. These children were throwing stones simply because their parents had told them to. Well, was that a good idea? I talked to someone of that generation not too long ago, and I was back in England, and I said, well, how did you feel about all that? And he said, I still hate the English. So I said, well, why are you living in England? He said, well, there's more work over here. So I said, well, why do you hate the English then? He said, too many foreigners. And he went on and on. And really, I never got to the bottom of why does he still hate the English from an Irish point of view. He had no answers. You see, he didn't understand as a child why his parents were trying to be independent by having everyone go into an uprising. He was just doing what he was taught to do. I would like you to think about your upbringing, your life. It may have been terrible. You may have been abused. You may have been raped. You may have had some priest doing the wrong things for you in the church. Whatever it is, there's no point in going over and over it, because that keeps that memory alive and it hurts you. It's like stabbing yourself in the heart morning, noon and night. But what you can say is, as a result of that event, you have learned something. Ask yourself, what has it learned? What was it? Did you learn independence or weakness? Did you learn strength? Did you learn power? Or did you let your self-esteem, self-worth and self-value go down on the floor? What were you like in school? Were you an outsider, afraid to mix? Are you like that today? Why? You're not in school anymore. Are you out and about socializing? Have you joined groups? Do you know what your hobbies are? Have you started a new one if you've never had one? Have you started to sing and dance when you thought you couldn't? There are so many choices in this world that can allow you to do whatever you want to do, and it's all about your brain. Your conscious mind is allowing to cheat. It's going to tell you that you can't because you're running the memories consciously, that is, of all the different things you've done in your life. Now, you need that there, but you need the sense to assimilate it all. Ask yourself which parts are important. For example, I learned to crochet when I was very young from my grandma, and even today I make healing blankets upon request for people around the world. Yes, I do charge for them, but if you'd like a healing blanket made by me, believe you me, it works. All the colors and the energy I put into it, it makes you safe and comfortable when you put it on your bed and you sleep at night. And it also helps you work out all the things that you need to do. Now, if you feel that you've got no one to turn to and you'd like help, you can always write to me, Dr. Margaret, rvc@gmail.com. You'll find it listed below this video. And if you go to my website, www.sumariscenter.com, also listed below, you can find a way to tell me what it is you want. You'll find that you can call me on the phone, and I do answer the phone, and my husband does. We don't try and take money from people. We ask people to, if they can afford it, to pay us. Obviously, we have to eat our bills and eat and pay bills and so on, but we're not expensive. We can help you. There are lots of ways we can help you. Even if you live halfway around the world, we can help you with counseling, coaching, readings, and of course hypnosis and any other thing, prayers for you, absent healing. There's a lot of ways we can help you. But the most important thing that you should get from this video today is that the way you think is what's blocking you. Your subconscious is where you store in cross-reference millions of tiny little boxes, if you like. Some of them all related to how many times you sat on the potty when you were a little girl, little boy, to every time you go today. What mood will you have? What memories do you have? Do you overreact to something current? When in fact you're really reacting to a memory of some bad situation when you were a child. Psychology is a thing that you can study. And we have choices in the things that we do and say. And now you're an adult, you have even more choices in the way that you look at your life and the way you handle it. And of course, only you can see through your eyes, listen with your ears, speak with your mouth, and touch with your hands and your body, and sense whatever your perspective is on what is going on around you at this time. So don't waste time trying to make someone else try and see through your eyes and ears, because they're not going to agree with you. They're going to say, I have a different point of view. I'm not even standing where you're standing looking at me, so I don't know how you see me. And you don't know how they see you. Admit it. If you want people to be friends, then you've got to learn to find the friendly part of you, the part of you that trusts, the part of you that loves, and the part of you that sees every new day as the dawn of a new beginning. Because what you did yesterday has led you to today, and what you do today will lead you to tomorrow. So don't try and plan that on a certain day in a certain place and in the year 2017 you're going to have $1 million, blah, blah, blah. Think about step by step, day by day, minute by minute, that you are omnipresent and aware of yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Which brings me to the last part of your brain, your deep subconscious. In there is all that you've ever done, the memory of you not just as a child and a woman or a man and the life you have up to now. It's also about all the times you've lived in the past. Now here's a little simile. If we accept that you have reincarnated, then you must also accept that you have feelings that you've lived in the past. And if you have feelings you've lived in the past, think about it this way. Are you worrying about where those bones were and where they are? And should you go dig them up and look at your life back then in those times and reiterate and redo all that stuff? Of course you wouldn't. You'd say, no, I haven't got too much to do in this life. I'm too busy. Well, do the same with your history. Look back at it in this life and say, I haven't got time to keep recalling what was. I haven't got time to spend hours sitting in a chair worrying about what might or might not happen based on my memories of what I thought about all those years ago. Instead, I'm going to get out of this chair, get out of this house. I'm going to make waves. I'm going to do what Jesus taught. Seek, and ye shall find. Go look. See what's going on out there. Knock on the door, and it will be open unto you, meaning inquire. Is there anything going on here that I could join in with? How can I offer my services? Can I help in some way? Or, I need some help. What can you tell me that you know about that can help me to get back on my feet? And then, last but not least, know that when you ask, you shall receive. In other words, be ready and open to receive news and information. It may not be what you want to hear, based on what you think your past should tell you. So have an open mind. Think about what you can say to someone who's giving you new news. Like, that's interesting. Where exactly would I go? And what exactly would I say and do in order to go to the next step? Can you advise me? You might find that people are so helpful that they even take you there. Yes, the energy of the planets is twofold, as I began this with. Part of it is let go of the history of the old you, and part of it is making a new you. And so there's lots of other people out there as well who are also saying, I want to be a new me. And so they're giving. They've broken away from the trapments of past, and they're ready to embrace new things. So they're sharing. Those are the people you want to meet, whether they're lawyers, doctors. I have so many people come to me saying, I want to change my focus. I want to change the way I work. You know, I had a doctor just recently who was saying that he doesn't want to do just GP work. He wants to do specializing in another way of things that is much more helpful to women. These are things that are going to make a great difference to women who are going to see him. I have some other people in Japan who are psychologists, and having started with me, they're now teaching the different ways that I've taught them to help people who have behavioral issues. And of course, Japan has a very high rate of suicidal situations. So, you know, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling miserable, if you're feeling like you're losing yourself, know that you're losing yourself in the past. You're in those welly boots, as we call them in England, galoshes, stuck in the mud in your history. And you do need to be pulled out. And when you're stuck like that, you do need help. Okay? So I'm here. I can help you. I've given you my contacts earlier in the video. And yes, if you are in a good space, For example, I had a client recently, got all the toys, boats, planes, spangle dangle cars, don't ask me what they are, and lots of family members and parties and all sorts of things going on, and utterly depressed, miserable. And we have to talk and look back at all the things that were given, but there wasn't any true contact. There wasn't any true love. There wasn't any true understanding of that child who's now a man and a businessman. So we're working on that. So whether you're rich or poor, you can have issues about your childhood. And that is an essential thing to understand, that those issues are controlling you now. They're stopping you from moving forward into the new age where everyone is going to be sharing eventually. But unfortunately, it's going to take time, because you see the old is arguing with the new, and we can see wars in the Middle East, and we can see wars further east, in Korea and different things like this in the West, and arguments over politics and all these things coming down, and everyone saying they want change. Well, of course they do. But we can't get that change till we get rid of the old. And it begins with each one of us in our own time, in times of troubles, working with someone who can help to get you to move forward, to believe in yourself, believe in your skills and abilities. And if you haven't got any, to teach you how to get them and work with them and become something you're proud of, something that makes you feel strong, independent, powerful, and loving the world as much as others will love you. So on that note, I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to ask you that whenever you need help, contact me. It's not about money, it's about helping you. We'll figure out what the costs are, if there are any costs, when I talk to you. So don't forget, write to me, Dr. Margaret, rvc@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.sumaricenter.com, and you'll find the phone number, and you can give us a call. Remember, wherever you are, to allow for the hour changes. I don't really want to be woken up in the middle of the night. So blessings to you. Bye for now.